Today's topic of discussion is reimagining global goals. This episode is not just a dialogue, it's a call to action. Let's welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Nimrod Israeli. Welcome, Dr. Nimrod. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm good. It's great to see you this morning. And hello from Israel, not far from Jerusalem.
All right, then. So, diving straight into our questions, let us start with the very basic of questions. Dr. Nimrod, can you tell our audience why do we have SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals?
Well, I think that anyone who reads the SDGs intuitively understand it is about doing good. Good people want to do good for others. They say, why only us? Why not others? Why don't we see everybody? And this is in very straightforward and simple words. We want everybody to be happy and to smile like we do.
To our next question to you, Dr. Nimrod, can you tell our audience, did Millennium Development Goals achieve their target, or will the Sustainable Development Goals ever achieve their target? Can you shed some light on it?
Well, here the news is not so good. We see that SDGs, we've got them for decades. And unfortunately, the agro sector that is mostly located in developing economies is still in despair, in huge problems, and we don't see significant change for decades. The good change came only or mostly for those who left the agro sector and went to other places. And this is not the intention of anything. So we still have, like decades ago, the developing economies, the developed economies, and a huge gap in between that hardly ever cross to one side or another. This is a failure.
Like you mentioned, agro sector got left behind because of a lot of commercialization, and also bore the brunt of price wars and so on, and technology transfer as well. Can you share your vision for the agro sector with our audience, please?
I believe that the agro sector, agriculture was the first revolution ever in human history, but that was 11,000 years ago. Since then, we have new revolutions, new sectors of industry, and agro sector is left behind, unfortunately. What we need is really to see it as another one of those commercial sectors, and we will see it sooner or later shrink in size to no more than a few percent per country, sometimes less than 1%, like it is in Israel, but it's going to be extremely advanced, and it will produce more than enough food and whatever we need, just like all industries in the world. And take, for example, the smartphone industry. It is less than 1% of the population, but we all have smartphones. There is no lack of smartphone in the world.
You mentioned in a way that the future of agriculture needs to be agile, needs to adapt to newer technology, or learn lessons from other industries and incorporate it within. This brings us to our next question to you also. Should we and could we have better goals, and what such goals should be?
I believe that, again, because we know already, it's not a question, that SDG didn't achieve its goals. We should have others. And the main thing is to understand that when we have many goals, it means that we don't understand something very fundamental. It is like you go into your house and you see a mess, and you start teaching your child, keep the sofa tight and keep the kitchen tight and do homework this. No. If you teach your child one thing about order, just whatever you do, keep it in order. Okay? This is the situation. You found the house. This is how you care about others. So really what we need is very, very few rules to follow, and this is what we should talk about.
And it is very true that now we are understanding that there are some things which are very fundamental across the board, across countries, which are struggling to come out of this trap, and stable economies who are trying to become more sustainable. This brings us to our next question, Dr. Nimrod, that what else should we do differently to achieve these goals?
We should dig in as deep as possible to understand why we have all those issues. And when we dig, we find that in most developed countries, it doesn't apply. We are not talking with the people of New York, London, Paris, even Bombay about those SDGs. We are talking only where developing economies, poor people, so it is always connected with poverty. So instead of talking of all those many things, the first thing we should look is prosperity. When we have people that are not in poverty, they are in prosperity, everything changes. And this is my first thing. The SDG number 1, which is no more poverty, let's change it into yes for prosperity. Prosperity has no limit, while poverty above $1.9 is no more poverty, but it's still terrible.
Wonderfully articulated. Thank you, Dr. Nimrod, for inspiring us with your thoughts on reimagining global goals. As we conclude, let's carry these insights forward in our collective journey towards a better world. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions on Chat SDG. Please leave your comments and questions below for us to address in the future episodes. Awareness on SDGs is only the first step. Let's take it together by sharing this video. Respect and love for all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.